Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us.
Welcome to the Why Doesn't My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met through our training and practice of relational life therapy. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for therapy. If something you hear in this episode stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com and leave us a question of your own. Here's today's question.
Why does my partner cut me off all the time or finish my sentences or speak for me?
I do that all the time.
I do
So do
too,
I.
but sometimes it's an editing glitch when it's on the podcast because the tracks aren't lined up. But in
Heard
real
about
life,
that.
I do it too.
I
That
am
was awesome.
If you heard that before it was fixed, that is what happens.
Awesome. Not that bad. I mean, I know I do, but really.
It is true. And we jump all over each other. I was listening to a podcast not too long ago by a woman who was doing some research on this, and she was researching speech patterns in different parts of the country. And what she was finding is speech patterns are super different in different locations, especially the pause between who finishes talking and who starts talking next. Like on the West Coast, it's way chiller, which makes sense. You West Coast people, I'm not one of you, but love it. And apparently there's like a little 2-second pause between like someone stopping and then somebody jumping in and saying the next thing. But on the East Coast, it's not like that at all. On the East Coast, they're like right on top of each other. So it could be like a difference in like how your family system grew up or like how you show. I know why I do it because my brain moves fast. Sometimes I don't contain it enough. And I'm super excited about what you're saying, actually.
There's 2 reasons I do it. One of them is because I want to prove that I'm really listening. And that's like my not so healthy place. So like there's a behavioral piece in there that I can work on. And the other piece, and this, like, I didn't know this until I was like reading and studying some of Bonnie Badenoch's work. And she started talking about this and my brain just went, whoa, that's it. Right. That actually, when we're really in resonance with other people, when we're really listening, the listener's brain actually gets there a step or 2 ahead of the speaker's brain.
That's right.
Yeah, that blows my mind.
But totally.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's interesting too, because like I do it in session when I'm the therapist, by the way, not necessarily my own set, my as the client, but I do it and my clients really do appreciate it and love it. And it's that exact resonance, Rebecca, like they get it and it shows I understand what they're saying. It doesn't seem to go over as well with my husband.
Well,
My clients love it. My husband does not. So there's my dilemma.
I completely get where he's coming from.
Mhm.
I am interrupting him, and I get why that makes him feel unheard. Sometimes it's because my brain is like in that resonance space that you're talking about, Rebecca, and I think that's absolutely true. And sometimes it's because I'm doing the thing I know to do to show that I'm excited about something. Because in my family growing up, and it's probably why the East Coast felt like home to me, even though I actually moved a ton as a kid. I didn't have a home base, but when I lived in New York City, I was like, oh yeah, these are my people. They're like, yeah, get to the point. Let's go. I'm like, yes, I talk like that. And they talk like that. And it's actually just a show of excitement and delight. And so that's a really difficult space, a frictiony space for us, because in my attempting to show delight in my natural way, I end up hurting him or making him feel like unheard, or like I don't care about what he's saying, or it's not important to me. And that's not true. And so I get where that natural speed and rhythm in my speech can get us into trouble and make him feel like his voice isn't as important or doesn't matter to me, which couldn't be further from the truth. So I'm trying really hard not to do it, but God, I'm terrible. Oh,
well, you're not alone. I mean, I'm so there
so
with you.
hard.
It's often the thing that my partner and I are like in a bind around, because it's one of those things where I'm like, but I'm so here with you. I'm so listening. And he's like, but you're not letting me speak. And you're totally like, I feel so dismissed and so I get that there's two edges there, because there's this one side where I am in resonance and I do get it. And then there's this other side where behaviorally, there's a piece that I have to turn around and look at there. Because he doesn't experience that as resonance. If I keep behaving that way.
Exactly. And the last thing in the world I want to do is communicate to him that I don't care what he's saying, because all I want him to do is talk more, actually. And so I get how it's true. Honey, if you're listening to this, I love you and I love your voice. I want to look at that behavior and attempt to stop it. And practice makes slightly better.
Right.
I'm getting better, but I can tell it's not even close to where I want it to be. But the level of mindfulness I have to use to do it. Oof. So it could be your partner cuts you off all the time because that's the rhythm of speech difference. Could be that their brain is a little bit faster electrically. So people who have really fast electricity, I don't have that, do I?
Maybe a little bit.
Have a tendency to process what's about to happen kind of a little bit ahead of where some other people are doing it. So it could be that difference. It could be because they're really bad at listening. Totally possible.
Yeah.
Which I think is how mine takes it, that I'm not listening.
Yeah, and that's understandable. So one thing to do if you're in a space where you're feeling like this is happening to you, I would be really curious with your partner about what is happening underneath that, if it's actually like that you don't matter or whatever, but also communicate the pain part so that they can choose to try to do it differently, even though, sorry, I'm so bad.
Well, I think that there's also a lot of compassion and space here that we want to create for that observing mind to come back online, right? For both of us, for both partners in this type of situation. Because whether we're the partner that's cutting off our partner, or we're the partner that's being cut off and it doesn't feel good, from either place, right? Like to notice like, oh, what's happening right there? I know one of the best things that I can do in my relationship when I cut my partner off, because I do it, is to go, oh, I'm sorry. I see what I just did there. I just did that thing again. Right. And so my noticing it before he has a chance to go into his reaction is a huge piece of how I can help to repair those ruptures.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But I can't always get ahead of them that I don't do them. That
Amen,
doesn't happen.
You know what else I was thinking is if it's a real issue where you guys have super different patterns of communication, you could actually set up listening spaces. This just like came to me in this moment, is you could actually set up conversations where you're having some intention around maybe there's one of you who speaks more, maybe there's one of you who interrupts more, maybe you just do it equally to each other. That's totally possible. But that person is in the listener seat and does not say anything at all until cued to.
Like old school talking stick.
It's
stuff.
like old school talking stick. So you could basically set up a talking stick exercise.
Did we just do it to each other right there with the talking stick?
I think a little bit, probably. I don't know. We are all
the time.
We are all interrupters, and so we tend to jump on top of each other. And honestly, for us, it comes from delight and excitement and deep listening. But that doesn't mean it lands like that for everybody. So for me, when somebody interrupts me, it doesn't feel bad. It feels like, you get it.
It's that moment of connection, and like we're in that together. We're having a conversation. We're there. Yeah.
See, my conversation, I mean, I grew up in California, but my conversation style is, well, unless it's in a group, it absolutely is. Jules, like, I don't jump in. You're absolutely right. And then one-on-one, I'm more like that with the excitement. And Gabe grew up here, but he's more not talking over people. So we have it backwards.
You have an opposite of you.
We do. Right.
And I grew up here in New York, and I remember there was a summer when I was in college that I spent out in California, and was it Jamba Juice? Is that what was out there? So I went to a Jamba Juice one day, and the guy at the counter is like, "Oh, you're from New York." Well, and it was just how I ordered the freaking juice. Like there was nothing else that I wasn't like, but he just knew. And I'm guessing it had to do with my speech pattern.
Right.
Yeah. Cause you don't have a heavy accent.
No, I was just
but your speech pattern is very East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
That I talk fast
and direct. There's also like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just true.
Am I direct? See, because I think I am too, but I'm from California, so I guess I'm not supposed to be.
Well, you have been in Boston a long time.
I have been 17 years. I have been. That is very
There
true.
is that.
So I don't know. I'm a blend. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm just a happy blend.
I'm an American mutt. I don't come from anywhere.
You have all those speech tiles inside of you.
Exactly. So if this is bugging you, make some space to have a conversation about it. Strike when the iron is cold.
That's a great quote.
And we'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care of each other best you can, guys. That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at our boot camp. You'll find the next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you could ask us your question?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.